is Matthew McGowan with his speech entitled Useless Facts from Around the World. With his speech, Useless Facts from Around the World, Matthew McGowan.
Contest Chair. Did anyone know that the population of Ireland in 1800 was twice that population of the United States? Did anyone know that the Star Spangled Banner, the anthem of the United States, the tune of it was actually composed by an Irishman? That man was Turlough O'Connor. Turlough O'Connor was a famous blind harpist, and he died 35 years before the American Revolution. Sometimes I can be a total nerd. And I love reading books with different facts and figures. For my speech tonight, I've put together a few of these useless, interesting and fun facts. Has anyone been to Liechtenstein? Oh, we have one. I didn't think it actually existed. I thought it was somewhere like a favourite place like Atlantis, the lost city of Atlantis, or Roscommon. But Liechtenstein is the only country in Europe that is surrounded, that is landlocked by countries that are themselves landlocked. The only other country in the world that is landlocked by countries that are themselves landlocked is Uzbekistan. So it must be the first topic of conversation when Hans from Liechtenstein meets Natalia from Uzbekistan. The Japanese national anthem only has 5 lines. It's a bit of a bummer for the World Cup team if they're trying to get pumped up before a match. The anthem, it must be nearly finished before it started. Unless it's like a Japanese tea ceremony that goes on for hours and hours and hours. The Greek national anthem has 168 verses. I'm just hoping they don't win too many medals in 2012. 62% of Bulgarians describe themselves as not happy or not at all happy. Iceland is the world's happiest nation. They're also the nation with the most days of work absenteeism. Maybe that's why they're happy. I wonder what the excuse they'd use when they phone up. Be like, oh yeah, sorry Eric, I can't make it in. The old volcano's exploded again. I'll see you in 2 years' time. The Canadian Navy has 9,000 people. Canada has the world's longest coastline. So it's not very well defended. I was thinking maybe we could invade. Might help us to pay off some of our debts. And in fact, in 1865, a group of Irish soldiers actually just did that. They were returning from the American Civil War, and they gathered in upstate New York, crossed over the border, and took over a fort on the Canadian side. They actually stayed there until they were repelled by a group of 20,000 Canadian soldiers. The Canadians were actually so concerned about this invasion that it actually spurred them to make a confederation and to form the present nation of Canada. Bolivia has 4,500 people in its navy. Bolivia doesn't even have a coastline. It's high up in the Andes. In British times, in the British Empire, Bolivia, though it existed, wasn't officially recognised by anywhere in the British Empire. This is because of an incident that occurred where an English diplomat went to see the then dictator of Bolivia. He was offered a cup of the national drink, but he refused, saying he'd much prefer just a nice cup of hot chocolate. But the Bolivian dictator was so infuriated and upset and insulted that he forced him to drink a vat full of chocolate and then paraded him around La Paz, the capital city, sitting backwards on a mule. Queen Victoria got word of this and she ordered the Royal Navy to bomb Bolivia. But then, as we know, Bolivia is not on the seas, high up in the mountains, so in her frustration she says, okay, well, I'm going to pronounce that it doesn't exist anymore. So for years and years and years it must have just been a big blank space in all the British Empire maps. 8 countries in the world have the term democratic in their in the national name. North Korea is one of them. There's 2 other ones that are democratic, but of course, as you know, North Korea is a dictatorship. 0.7% of the population of the United States is in prison. 0.7% of the population of Ireland are either bankers or politicians. In the Maldives, there's 2 prisons for every 1,000 people. And told down in the town of Listowel in County Kerry, there's 2 pubs for every 200 people. I could go on forever and ever about all these facts. If you go to my house at home, I've got books with the historian Norman Davis, Stephen Hawkins, the scientist, and Bill Bryson, the travel writer. But even with my extensive reading, none of them mention Roscommon. But I'm hoping one day it will be discovered.